Welcome back. As I promised in the last segment, this one is going to have some facilitation involved. And that is because while phase 2 facilitator notes say that the second phase is quite simple, getting them to check in, it's nothing that is actually simple. All the objections you'll experience from developers will be addressed, but we need to work through that and how to do that. So Arlo, if I asked you to do everything that you did, you seem to have been fine up to that point.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. So what would have been your reaction if I said, okay, did you check that in and did you check that into the main?
Of course not.
Right. Can you explain why you would not have checked that into the main?
Yeah. Because right now we're just playing around. I can play around however I want. It's perfectly safe. It won't affect the actual code in production. If you say check into main, you're telling me to ship this to our customer. No way!
Right. And the developers are going to have really valid objections on why we should not be shipping that to the customers. So the first thing that we're going to do is go ahead and do some virtual facilitation. Keep in mind that it's likely they're going to be doing a virtual mob. And so we can use tools such as Miro to start the facilitation process to gather what their objections are and address them one by one. So we're going to go ahead and get started. As facilitator with access to this facilitator's guide, you already know that all of the objections you're going to hear are going to fall in 4 major categories, but we don't want to inflict that yet. We're just going to collect all the objections because they're going to probably feel a little affronted that you don't know what we do anyway. You need to hear them. This is the time as a facilitator to listen. So Arlo is going to go ahead and list all the objections that a developer is likely to experience and say. What would be the first objections that you would be hearing?
Oh, there's going to be so many of them. I'm going to need bulk mode. All right. Let's start talking. So, first of all, there's no tests. Like, seriously, none at all. Second, no code review. We have a crappy name. It's the wrong, I'm sure it's probably the wrong code that we extracted. I don't understand it. There's, what else is screwed up with this one? I don't think that we did a safe refactoring, so it's not safe. And then I didn't push it through the CI. It doesn't meet our coding standards. There's no story attached to it, which means that there's no traceability. No product owner review or no manager review. Yeah, that's a good start.
All right.
There's probably a lot more, but that's just a good start.
So we have 13, it looks like. 13 major objections.
9, 10,
here.
11.
11. Okay. So let's break these down into some categories that we can actually address. One by one might be a little tedious. I think we can actually get these broken down into categories. So can you change the color to, for all the ones that represent too dangerous?
Okay, too dangerous.
Basically, there's no testing. It could introduce a bug.
Oh yeah.
Cause problems in the code base.
Oh yeah. That's a good one. Bug. Okay. Yeah. All right. Those are all about too dangerous.
All right. So which ones of these would represent the category of basically it's too crappy. It's not worth it. It's a bad name. Really don't want my name attached to that.
Okay, so that one is not, no, let's see, what color do I dislike? Yeah, I dislike lime green. So,
okay.
Yeah, so I don't want my name attached to that one. There was another one that now I think of, now that you mentioned that, which is that it's not big enough. Like, seriously, I didn't do much. Yeah, it's probably the wrong code. And it totally violates our coding standards. I don't even understand it. I certainly don't want it associated with my name. There we go.
Great. All right. Can we go ahead and bunch these up a little bit? So
All
now we
right.
have too crappy over here in lime green. Red over there, that's too dangerous. Big red flags.
Okay.
Excellent.
Too dangerous. Too crappy. All right.
That'd be two O's.
You're right. It would be.
Sorry.
If only I could spell. There we are.
All right. So we have 5 left. Which ones would just be systemically bad? It would hurt your performance.
Oh, performance.
Ability to debug.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think of those things. Haha! All right, there's a bunch that I didn't even think of. I'm going to pick a new color for that. We're back to bulk mode. We're doing teal, and we're going into bulk mode because, seriously, debugging is hard. Performance, I have no idea what impact I just had on performance. I might have just screwed up the logging. Let's see. That's a good set for just this one. This was relatively simple, so we'll say it was just those 3.
Okay, great. And
that one was
systemically bad.
okay.
All right, so there's one category left that I'm seeing pretty clearly here, and that is no process. I see no code review, no product owner review, no manager review. Do all 5 of these fit into that no process category?
Yeah, although I think I'm going to put this one really as bugs.
Okay.
Because the preventive CI is to prevent the bugs. And I could say no code review is the too crappy, but I think I'll put it down here. All right.
No process.
No process. Okay. All right. Yep.
Great. All right. And as facilitators, you're going to see categories that may not come up. I mean, you could have a lot of these post-it notes that fall in 3 of these categories, but none fall in the 4th category. So you want to actually add that. Let them go ahead and get through everything that's on their minds. Let them do a brain dump. And then start adding, what about this? What about that? And they're like, oh my goodness. I mean, you could hear Arlo's voice of, I didn't even think of that. And as a facilitator, you want to make sure that you're in that listening mode initially, and then that you're able to actually contribute. So this can also happen if you have all 4 categories, but as you heard, there were some of the specific objections that he didn't think of immediately, and you can add that in as the categories are being constructed. Once you get to the point where everything has been put on the Miro or on your whiteboard, whichever situation you may be in, now you need to make sure that you've achieved your success check. And the best way to ask is by simply going directly to the mob, or in my case, Arlo. If all of these criteria were met, if you felt like each of these would be addressed, would you then commit that code that I asked you to check into the main at this point?
Sure. I mean, we aren't going to meet them at all, of course. But if we could meet them all, then yes, it would be just like any other commit that we do send to our customers. It would have followed through our process, so I'd be okay with it.
Now we're going to move on to our next phase, or set of phases, which is addressing each of these 4 criteria one at a time.